sees something that he thinks that we're doing wrong or something that they didn't end. So it's a really cool to have this guy on board.
That's a huge positive as well to have a young player. Now, I also want to touch on the fact that, right, when it comes to this game, it's a seeding game, you've already beaten before, but you still want to keep that fire, you still want to keep that hunger going. Do you feel like motivated to prove a point because you are the new roster, so it's not going to be like taking your foot off the gas at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us it's about driving on the momentum that we have right now, and yeah, no matter what game it is, if it's an official game, we're here to win, and we always want to try and win. And it's obviously a special game against our former team. So yeah, it's a game that we really want to win.
Well, let's see if you can do it, Danny. Thank you very much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Vitality versus Astralis as the final destination here at Blast Premier. We just saw the map videos rolling in as well, which is an interesting point to be talking about. Now we're coming on to Mirage. First time we've seen this new look Vitality playing out on the specific map with Spinks, particularly with what Sonic was saying about the roles and positions for the team.
Yeah, he's talking about he didn't want Spinks to come in and just, you know, suck it up and play positions he weren't comfortable in. And you look back to where Misuta was playing on Mirage. B-Apps, which is probably the most, or least sexy position on Mirage, let's be honest, on the CT side. So I guess it's safe to assume that Spinks will not be playing BFs, and who will then? So I'm very curious to see how they're going to line up on the CT side.
Yeah, there has to be some restructuration. It has to be. I cannot imagine just Spinks being sitting there, having a pina colada on the B side. I've been there a few years. It's not great, honestly. But also, something Sonic was bringing up as well is that when you have Spinks coming in, of course, compared to the Titans that he has next to him, sure, he has a little bit less experience.
Sure.
But I don't think they should regard him as, we tell you what's up. No, he also has something to give. Not only individually is he full of confidence and he's fitting Counter-Strike, but he was on a team that was performing as well. So hear him on what he wants to do, hear him on what can work, and he has to bring bricks to the edifice as well, bricks to the house.
And I think that was kind of the exciting thing about this Vitality project when it first started out, with the Danes and the French kind of coming together, that synergizing as well. It'll be really exciting to see, you know, if they can take on board some of Spinks' ideas. Just speaking of some of the veterans of the side of Vitality, I know the conversation, of course, has been a lot about Spinks today, but ZywOo, really hot start for one of the best players.
Yeah, best rated player, in the tournament so far. I think he's on a 1.5 plus rating at the moment. He's playing
1.6.
Great, 1.6. There we go, all the way up there. So ZywOo is back to his best. You know, you could only hope. He did have a bit of a strugglesome beginning to 2022, and when we say strugglesome, he's not the second best player in the world, undisputably. That's strugglesome for ZywOo. That's how good he is. But what we've seen so far today is fantastic. I hope ZywOo is going to get back to a level where we can start having the conversation again. Is he as good, or maybe even better than Simple?
Yeah, he left that conversation up until Lisbon. I feel like ever since Lisbon came around the corner, we saw the ZywOo that has to be in the conversation for best player in the world.
Well, of course, our opponents are going to be Astralis, but I do have a few questions. One particularly for Mahone, because I know he's pointed out a point from Mirage that we saw earlier up against OG. So what are we looking at here, Mahone?
Yeah, so Astralis, they had an incredible CT side against OG, and I actually want to show one of the rounds that kind of show why that is. So right here, we're going to see this round where Glaive, he's playing here towards his ticket booth position. They're kind of set up default, and an A-exec is going to come through from OG. And if just in case you're not familiar, A-exec, just a typical jungle stairs smoke as well as the CT smoke. And just look at the way Astralis play this. So you'll see that Glaive, he's going to drop his smoke just in front of the triple boxes. It lands right about here. It's right here, just connecting the two default and triple boxes. And what that does is allows them to actually push past the CT smoke and catch the first player coming out ramp. And why this is important is because for the second player coming out towards this ramp position, because of that smoke, he actually can't see Glaive fall back towards CT spawn. So this is a really good smoke to use to get that first kill. And in addition, for the Palace player who normally comes out during this A-exec, he also can't see Glaive push or fall back towards that CT spawn area. That's really the power of the smoke here. Now, another thing that you'll notice that Astralis did in this particular round is they also did a boost. They boosted towards this jungle position, had Blame Up kind of tower over the jungle smoke to spot Fiku coming out towards this Palace position. After getting that kill, it makes it so difficult for OG to basically push into the site. And you can even see from Fiku's point of view here, there's just no way that he's going to be able to spot this boost coming out behind the smoke. And that's really what makes these two plays so powerful, because once Astralis get into this spot where it's a 5v3, there's not much that OG can do. They have to aggress, the smoke fades, Glaive gets the first kill, and he gets another kill next after he tries planting the bomb. So that's one of the main reasons why Astralis, they have such a strong CT side, and this is something that they're going to have to continue to do against Vitality in this match.
Thank you very much for that one, Danny. Yeah, it was a really hot CT side from Astralis earlier on, but you were bringing up a point, Matthew, just about the development of Astralis on this particular map.
Yes, there is a story that I think we tend to forget right now is all the struggles that Glaive had to go through when they brought in BlameF and Confi, because there was a lot of overlap between BlameF and Glaive, and he was the one saying, listen, I'm going to take a step back, I'm going to learn a couple of new positions. That was the case on Dust 2, for example, with that B rotation. On Mirage, now he's on the A side, and his story is also one of kind of overcoming these obstacles. Many games I've seen him completely out of his depth on Mirage, completely lost. That game against OG, much better, much more in control, knowing how he had to handle situations. So his path is also one that we need to praise on that.
That even aligns with what he was saying in the interview after the game, that BlameF is now calling right, and he can focus on himself. He can make sure that he feels comfortable on the map of Mirage. I will say, though, that both these lineups, when you look at specifically Mirage, they're not really consistent on the map. We've seen Astralis play some good games, and we've seen Astralis play some horrible games. Same could be said about Vitality. They have really not found the consistency on a map like Mirage. So I feel both of these lineups are coming into this game feeling, I wouldn't know after a break, obviously. They could have been power pracking it, but looking at the results the past 3 months, it's very inconsistent. You don't really know where to put it.
Yeah, I think it was just before Dallas, Vitality were on a horrible loss streak on Mirage as well.
7 maps in a row.
Yeah, no, that definitely wasn't cute for them. But I do kind of look at them, particularly now with Spinks coming in. You know, I know it's a small sample size. We've only seen him playing on 2 maps. Very interested to see where he's going to slot in here. But I do see them as kind of maybe a different level of opponent as that OG that we saw Astralis facing earlier.
Well, of course. I mean, we have to go just beyond the simple addition of level, right? If we do the differential, Mizuta, Spinks, we've covered it already. Mizuta was a worse player than Spinks. That's quite clear. We've gone over that. But I think it's about the aura that it has on different players as well. We can take the Inferno game as an example. You have a teammate that's down in the dumps, 0 and 11 or 1 kill in 11 rounds. But then suddenly you look to him, you look to your left, to your right, and you know he's still in the game. You know he still has a teeth in it. He's going to come back. He's going to fight back. And this is some of the intangibles that sometimes we struggle to explain to people. It's not just about the sum of frags. It's what kind of energy that people is conveying to you. The same way Robs did it with FaZe when I say he completed the puzzle. Who knows if Spinks isn't going to do that for Vitality?
Well, we're going to see exactly how it does play out, and I'm very excited to see Spinks taking to the server for the first time on Mirage for the side of Vitality. He'll be taking on Astralis that we see on cam right now. We're going to head it to a quick break. When we are back, it's the final matchup of Group A here at the full groups.
Stop you so you could jump into a fight.
Apex, Zywoo, Dupree, Magisk, Zonic, and Spinks finding themselves here in the final game of Group A for the Blast Fall Group Stage. And who is on the other end? Well, of course, it's Astralis.
It is, and a very impressive Astralis today with their last win, their revenge win over NIP. I think they're a good win over OG. I think it's been a pretty interesting day, and it's cool. We're gonna get used to seeing these rosters. I think, we're not gonna see any roster moves happen from now probably until the end of the year, I would hope. Might be able to get comfortable with this. It's already been crazy enough. I feel like even watching Vitality play through the first half of 2022, you still have to get used to it.
Yep.
The fact that it's Dupree and Magis, because they never ever reached the point where they met expectations and fell off. They just never got there. And now with Spinks, they have to get there. I mean, I'm gonna say they will get there. I think this is the only roster move that I felt for sure about as it happened. And there couldn't be any clear upgrade, I think. So it looks like it makes sense. We saw Spinks go 0-9, I think, on map 2, and then brought it back into a positive scoreline with like 18 frags, second fragged on the map. I mean, he's definitely good. This kid has it, and he's doing a lot for Vitality.
And while the Vitality project, the fully Danish and French one, never really kind of came to what we had hoped it would, it is fair to say, like, we got marked improvements towards the end of last season, right? Their first playoff game in front of a crowd finally happens in Lisbon. It's like that was their biggest achievement as that 5, and it happened directly before we get this Spinks upgrade, which is considered by, I would say, almost everyone, if not absolutely everyone, to be just a straight up, plug and play boost. So the timing's good for Vitality, and if they can walk into the start of this season, go ahead and clear this group, dispatch of Astralis like a bunch of chumps, then we can look at Vitality and just say, yeah, this was very easily, labeled as a big plus. So, it wasn't the cleanest game versus OG. It wasn't the easiest game versus the Ninjas. What about Astralis? Will they also get double digits, or are they going to fall short? We'll find out soon.
Yeah, and Mirage is such a great map for this to go down on. We've got, so I think the 2 best players in the group right now are Blameth and Zywoo, and they're both on form. They're both looking really, really strong. And Maniac said it, Zywoo feels like he is the number 2 player right now, which for me, when I was looking at, because I do my list at the end of the year, my top 20, and so I did a halfway list just to check on people, see where people are at. And I didn't really feel like there was a number 2 player this year. Simple was number 1, and nobody else was that sick. No one else was consistently that sick. Simple was so far ahead. But Zywoo we saw today, Zywoo was Spinkswoo. He's back to number 2. So if he keeps going, if he wasn't feeling it with this last lineup, and that's changed, I think he might just still be the clear second. He's a far cry from first. Everyone is.
Okay. Yeah.
But being second is a pretty big accomplishment already this year. So,
out of curiosity, just because I think we got a little bit of a break here. What is the who was in the short list for number 2? Tell me, Mo. If we're talking about checkpoint of the year.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was Nico, Chiro. Were there any surprises? Yeah, I think, Nico, it's kind of, actually Shiro was not on there because not a limited number of lands, but with his online results, he would have been.
Anyone from FaZe?
I had to pull it up. No, so that was actually the only player from FaZe. There was actually no players from FaZe that were even in top 5.
Huh.
Based on the stats, which is kind of cool. Now, that being said, there are more players from FaZe in the top 20 than any other team.
Yeah. How things change.
So that is kind of cool. And there's also the second half of the year. This is, I didn't put this out, I was just looking.
Oh, okay.
So there's still the secend major of the year. There's still the whole Blast.
You're just leaking your
circuit.
Teaser.
Kind of.
I get it.
Yeah. Tune in for that. But that was an interesting thing, actually. That was probably the most interesting thing about it, is that the closest was Brokey. I think he was around top 5 in terms of just pure numbers, if you want to look at it like that. But nowhere near top 2 or 3, which is it's kind of cool, I think, for FaZe. The most dominant team, the best team right now, the most good players, and probably the most players in top 10 and the most players in top 20, but no one in top 5. Huh. That would be a first, I think, for a team that stays the number 1 team in the year. But still,
all they have to do is hang on to that.
Yeah.
Always easier said than done.
So, out of 2021, Vitality, you could definitely see when they're good, they're really good. Apex is a very good caller when they're good. And today we see it, and we see glimpses of it every couple of months, where they call a game where they're transitioning from setups fluidly, seamlessly, lots of ideas, lots of CT side pushes. I mean, there was one round on Inferno, they lost control of Banana on car, went back to the site, went right back into another flash retake as if the communication was happening 5 seconds ago. That's how good it looked. So that was a very good sign for me. We interviewed ZywOo, and he said that the communication from Spinks has been exceptional.
Yep.
And that he has made everything a lot easier and better. And then the other thing is that he's not afraid to say what he wants and what he feels the team should do, which are two things that Zonic mentioned that he was looking for.
Yeah.
So far, no red flags.
And thirdly, even after that, right, he just also kind of noted the calmness that Spinks brings to the game. And that's not just within his own play style, being kind of like a one-man army solo lurk, but just the fact that in communication, he's never getting frazzled. That's something that we looked at the entire Ents roster and we thought, like, man, there's nobody pumping him up. You know, there's no big energy in the room. And so now Spinks has a guy like Apex calling the shots beside him. He slots in very nice. Said it felt as if he'd been on this team for months already, and they had practiced for a week coming into the groups here in Copenhagen. So here we have it, ZywOo with his new right-hand man.
Yeah. Just talking English, two bros talking English. Something we never knew we'd see from ZywOo. Now he can't stop talking. It's great.
It's all, honestly one of the best kept secrets in all of Counter-Strike, I think, was the fact that
his biggest clutch. He
was all, and I think the more I think about it, the more I think that Freya was in on it. When she tried to interview him at the Face It Major, and we got that infamous interview, I think she knew already.
Right.
That was set up for French Counter-Strike to keep ZywOo a secret so that nobody could poach him until they had them locked into these, big multi-year contracts.
Yeah, I mean, he's hard to read in a clutch. She's very sneaky. She cheats at Scrabble.
Oh, she's such
a
Freya.
So I think the two peas in a pod, those two.
She made me feel really special today. She brought me Nerd Ropes, one of my favorite candies. And I thought, damn, Freya, nice to see you too. First day off the break. And then I found out that she gave them to everyone. So.
No one liked them.
Except for me, Freya.
Yeah.
I got you.
You had,
Got you. And then Anders brought me magic cards. I've been spoiled today. What did you bring me? You didn't bring me shit.
You want to cast by yourself?
No.
All right.
Okay.
That's what I brought you.
That's your gift? Yeah. Your gift to me and everybody else.
My presence is a presence, kiss my ass. Who said that?
Call that the Coach Lau. We got a headset issue for Glaive, and it's very important for Glaive to speak. Although less important nowadays on Mirage, right? This is the one map that Blame F is actually the IGL of Astralis for.
Oh man, if someone else was calling on a map for me, I would always pick that map in the veto. But I hate calling. So yeah, and he did a great job. I think honestly, ironically, Farley feels like the player who's having the most trouble with opening duels. He would go out for some pick, sitting on A ramp in Palace, out mid on Cat, looking at connector. Never really had success on T side. But despite that, there were so many ideas from everyone else that were working out so well. It was fine. And it's not like he was dying doing them. He just didn't find the kills themselves. But I think there's some room there for him to grow. On Ancient as well, he kind of would just post up on an angle. There was one moment where he was sitting in a cave, waiting, and then he got blasted away by Brolin.
Yep.
But in the previous round, we had the same position, except a boost with Blame F. And on top of his teammate, and he killed the guy who swarmed, right? And so it feels like when Farley goes out to do something, it's a bit more one-dimensional. There's not enough people working with him to do it.
Okay.
Whereas, and everybody else seems to be going crazy. I mean, Config, again, the Cat player who was almost never on Cat on the map, always looking for new ways to get the openings. So, looking for some more, continuing the innovation. Did Zonic just say Abdul?
I thought he said, come nu!
Oh, okay.
Like every other Danish coach.
Yeah. So, yeah, this could be the head-to-head of innovation. I think the two teams that are playing really smart right now, their minds are open, and they're doing a lot, and they're bringing ideas. They're not afraid to be aggressive, and now they're going head-to-head on pretty good form. I think this should be a great match.
Yeah, it really could be, especially with, again, like noticeably improved T sides across both of the games that we already saw. and now they've just got to turn around and do it a third time. But they start this map on CT side, which is, I think, where we've never really had as many questions for Astralis anyways. So if they're really going to do this, if they're going to go from a loss to begin the day to beating every other team in this group, including what's considered to be one of the best plug-and-play roster moves of this offseason,
Yes.
then that is a genuine accomplishment for one of the teams who, you know, with questions around them, decided not to make a roster change.
Yes.
So it'd be a really cool start to the fall season for these guys, but you know, it's got to start before they can end it.
And obviously, Ents were doing incredibly well on Mirage.
Yeah.
So this just bolsters the vitality Mirage. Of course, Dupree and Magis haven't played it before, but it's been some time they play it now. Zywoo's always been insane. He's cracked on Mirage. No problems there. So this should absolutely help.
I never like to play games in that. Even if it's like 300. Or maybe if I need to play ladder, I need my keyboard and my mouse. Yes, but I cannot play.
You hear how good this English is?
It's so good.
Enjoy it.
He must have been speaking English like he's spoken his whole life.
So fucking hard.
It's good vibes in the Vitality camp. That's what Zywoo said, right? Like, again, it feels like he's been here for months just in terms of companionship. Sinks right in. Can't wait for us to get some interviews with Spinks, kind of giving his perspective on joining this team, right? A guy who had to join Ents, had to work on English communication. If you think about it, he has more experience with English communication than the rest of this Vitality roster, because his entire time on Ents was English speaking, whereas the French players and the Danish players had to make that change. It's easy for Spinks, but it looks like this tech pause is going to be a few more minutes, folks. So we do have a format explainer on standby to take your attention. Don't go too far, but we will be right back.
Welcome to Blast Premier 2022. Twelve Blast Premier teams will begin their quest for victory in a season group stage. Teams seed each other, creating 3 groups of 4. These teams then play out a BO1 rapid-fire round to set their place in a cross-group gauntlet. BO3 Gauntlet will see 6 teams automatically qualify for the season final. The remaining 6 teams will be cast into the showdown, where they must fight to survive in a merciless single elimination format. Whilst there, they will be joined by one top global team by way of exclusive invitation. A further 9 additional teams will enter the fray, thanks to Blast Premier regional qualifiers, making it a truly open tournament where even amateur teams have a chance to unseat the pros. For the first time, each seasonal showdown will be split across 2 regional tournaments. 8 teams will compete within a European and CIS bracket, whilst the remaining 8 will battle with a North America and rest of the world bracket. Victors of the showdown, 1 team from the European and CIS bracket, and 1 from the North America and rest of the world bracket, will secure their place in the season final to join the 6 teams from the group stage. The 8 finalists will face off in a GSL format, leading into a single elimination playoff bracket with quarters, semi, and grand finals. The champions of both the spring and fall seasons will be joined by exceptionally skilled teams, including winners of the CSGO Major, ESL Pro Leagues, as well as the 2 teams who top the global leaderboard. The global leaderboard is a year-long point-scoring system that takes into account the performance of Counter-Strike teams from leading tournaments from around the world. Teams accumulate points by winning matches and progressing as far as possible in these selected events. Teams hoping to qualify through the global leaderboard will have until November 28th to claim as many points as they can in a number of events, including both Blast Premier seasons and several leading tournaments. In the event of any duplicate winners, spots will be opened up to those who have fought their way to the top of the leaderboard. These 8 champion teams will come together for one last clash as they battle it out for a prize pool of $1 million. Join us in 2022 as victors are crowned and heroes are made.
guys digested all that. The quiz will come after this last best of one, and if you fail the test, then you're not allowed to watch tomorrow. Simple as that.
That's tough, man. I wouldn't want to fail.
Check out our stage. 4 stages, in fact.
Looks good. And I like the magic electric glass that we got that back. That's how you know we're back.
I don't understand the science behind it, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I feel like Anders would, for some reason, know.
Yeah, that is true. Well, you see, the I can't even pretend to be smart, actually.
You almost said polyps.
I was going for polymer.
Polymer. Yeah.
Which I also don't really know what that is. Type of plastic.
Zywu quizzical look from Zywu.
Yeah. Ferme ta gueule. Aïe, aïe, là. Elle est bonne. Apex has not been. How do I put this? He's been teaching them swear words.
That's supposed to be the first thing that you learn when you learn a new language, right?
I mean, yeah, I suppose it depends on who's teaching you. And in this case, it's Apex. So he went straight to the necessities.
See, even you said it, necessities.
Necessities.
You're looking at me. So on Mirage, they didn't play Mirage, I think. Vitality today.
I can't remember their first game.
I don't think they did. Let me see.
No, they played Dust 2.
They played Dust 2.
Yep.
So in terms of spots being changed, Masuda plays B, Anchor. But Spinks plays Cat.
Okay.
And on Vitality, Dupree normally plays Cat. So we'll see if we get a total shuffle and where Spinks will play. I think Zonic said this. He said, I don't want players who come in and say, give me whatever spots I'll play with anything. And then they just suck at them and then they lose. Or they could play more impactful spots with more responsibility and then the team does better and they win. So we'll see if they gave or he wanted Cat and they give it to him. Because, okay, something fundamental, I guess that some maybe new viewers don't totally understand, but generally on Counter-Strike maps, spots closer to mid are higher frag locations because there's more action.
Sure.
You're connecting, you're either fighting in the mid default or you're very close to the site as well. So you're closer to 2 parts of the map and have a rotation over to another or are offered up big flanks and things like that. And that's often where oppers spend a lot of time, even though we see a lot of nades come down to stop oppers from having these angles, so we don't see oppers in window all the time. And that's where the meta has developed. So you put your star players in the positions closer to mid most often. That's what you'll see. And then the anchors are spots where sometimes specialty players are particularly good at anchoring positions, so they'll play there, and they can be the star players, but not always. But anchoring A on Mirage and anchoring B on Mirage are spots where you're not going to get that many kills. You might not see that many people. You'll often get smoked out, need to get one and stay alive. And that's not where you want to waste a player like Spinks.
No.
But then you also don't want to waste it on a player like Dupree. So it's really going to depend where they put each person. But now Vitality have a thing where they've got so many players who are actually stars or formerly stars that someone is going to have to play the B anchor. It could be Apex to play that spot. I wonder if Dupree will or move.
You know, who wants to make that sacrifice?
Because Dupree's never played anywhere else on Mirage in his career.
So surely you can't move it.
Maybe.
Spinks is good and all, but that's legacy.
Yeah, no, but he's only played there for like a year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only thing. So we'll see.
Find out. There are questions around this team, but I think high expectations, just because of, again,
they're expensive.
Edition. They are expensive. You know, do you think this was one of the, I want to say, like, quietest roster shuffle seasons in a couple of years now, at least?
It was just annoying.
There was no big signing. Like, let's say Vitality Spinks didn't happen. I feel like it would have been pretty underwhelming. Like, this was the last big move to happen. Happened just a couple days before things went live. It was a big surprise for a lot of people. So, you know, without that Spinks Vitality,
it would have been just like G2.
It would have been the G2, which I feel like is less of, let's say, you know, an immediately positive move and more of like a very interesting question mark. So I would have been left a little unsatisfied.
I think unsatisfied anyway. I mean, we're looking at the good roster move, but you see the rest of the moves are just like, hope that works. I hope and stay top 5. You know,
Sure.
I don't think they will. It's hard to replace a player like Spinks. I mean, Spinks was getting to the quality of player, much shorter amount of time. But in the conversation of like, you know those people that will say, oh, we need to replace Nico, but they don't have a replacement for Nico. Like, how are you supposed to actually replace him? Spinks was like one of the only players that could actually kind of fit in some weird sense of like impact and role and play style, where it would make sense to put him in that tier. But even the fact that he's in that conversation just speaks to how well he's been doing.
Fair enough.
Big find for Vitality. And I think part of the reason the offseason was quiet was also because of Astralis. I mean, they didn't make any moves. And I mean, the current form Astralis are not going to win tournaments, I don't think. I don't, Farley's not elite, and Config's too inconsistent, even though he can be good. Yeah. I mean, Zipix has recovered a little bit, but he's still not very good. It's not 2018.
It ain't 2018.
Yeah, I think they could take pride in not making roster moves, but I think at the same time they probably should have.
You know, it's also not 2015, and what that means is that guys like Pimp and Maniac are no longer playing. But luckily for us, they are analyzing. So we'll throw this one down to Freya so that these guys can fill.
Man, Connor,
He
that
said
was
what? He said
savage.
what? He said what?
I mean, has Connor ever competed? How much has Connor won in prize money?
You know,
Sorry,
we were coming down on the floor here to help the casters out what they're feeling. But if that's how we're going to be treated, I'm just going to walk out, let them be out there, talk about their life, and
Very interesting lives.
what is wrong with them?
Damn. Okay,
Thought we
that
were
was
friends.
pretty savage. As you can tell, obviously there's a couple tech issues going on.
Just us
an
now.
audio issue with a headset, I believe, for the side of Vitality. But that gives us some time to kind of talk about some of the roster moves coming out of this summer break as well.
Sure.
I know that Connor was saying earlier, some of the other seasons we've seen a couple more moves going on. But I mean, Spinks, that was the one that I was highlighting as my favorite. And are there any others you want to throw into the mix?
I mean, the obvious big one for me is the team we're going to see later in the tournament with G2, JKS coming in, and Hooksy as well. Out of all people out there, out of all in-game leaders available, Hooksy was the guy they picked up, right? And that leaves some questions to be answered. I think he's a great tactical mind. I think he's a great player. But individually speaking, he doesn't really fit into this powerhouse of firepower within G2, which I think is nice, a bit of a nice change. So I'm curious to see how he's going to do. JKS as well. To me, I posed the question, Matthew. He's still a question mark for me. He had a great stand-in tournament for FaZe, but apart from that, the past couple of years hasn't really been at the level we expected him to be. So how sure are we that JKS is going to be the old JKS?
I mean, of course, we have a whole lot of questions, but you know what I find to be amusing, Freya, is that 6 months ago, we were standing right here and we talked about G2 and Vitality making changes in order to be fighting with Na'Vi. That was the whole storyline. It was the whole conversation, the whole dialogue. These two teams, these two powerhouses, who actually were playing very good Counter-Strike at the top of the list, top 2, top 3, top 4, made a couple of changes just to be able to fight with Na'Vi. Where are we now?
I mean, and then
just reset
FaZe
all the
entered the
cards.
chat, literally. So people are kind of fighting to take down not only Na'Vi, but FaZe as well, now that they've come off a really great season that we saw just before the summer break as well. The Hooksy conversation, really interesting, because I believe this is his first English-speaking team that he's going to be leading.
At least as far as I'm aware,
Yes,
it's the first top English team he's going to be part of. Yes, so in-game leading in a non-native language. I know from firsthand how hard they can be in terms of communicating, in terms of giving the precise information fast enough and in a way that everyone understands it and articulates it. Especially when there's different nationalities within the team. JK is obviously coming from Australia, speaks fluent English. The other guys have done it for quite some time, so they should be good at it. But you're right, that's also a point of conversation. How is he going to fare within that?
There's a conversation we were having on our way to the studio as well when it comes to Hooksy. How many times in the history of Counter-Strike have we seen rookie, newcomers, straight up step into the IGL role of a team of high caliber as high as G2? We tried to put a couple of examples together. I think Stewie might have done it at some point. Boomich kind of really quickly took over Na'Vi when he was in the shadow of Zeus, but they are far and few between. These are not very likely examples, and the reason for that is that being an IGL comes with a truck ton of responsibility. You have to have authority. You have to know what the hell you're doing. People have to follow you. If you're a Hooksy, how can you possibly, and I'm not saying that as a bad way, I'm not dissing it at all. I'm just asking the question, how do you step into G2 feeling like you have the legitimacy to have everyone follow you? Hi, Nico, you have already established yourself 50 more times than I will ever do in my career, but trust me, I shall show you how to win. I mean, the challenge is huge for him. to step into that role and really take over.
Yeah.
I think I said something along the lines during the summer break that they needed an in-game leader who was going to be able to tell the players of G2 to shut up when needed, right? That was sort of the phrase I used, and not necessarily in the way that they're saying it right, but more so in the sense that you want to take over control of the team. You want to be the leading voice. You want to be the guy, I guess, leading the path for the rest of the team, and then they have to fit into whatever leader style you have. The problem is there's so much individual skill within G2. There's Monacy, an unpolished diamond that can still get up there and become much, much better. You have Nico, one of the best players in the world, who 6 months ago were in conversation to be the best in the entire world, without a doubt the best rifler in the world as well. You got to give them leeway. You got to give them a say in how they play as well, and that's the balance that Huxi has to maintain. That's the balance he has to find, and that is going to be a massive, massive challenge. I'm willing to say G2 is probably the hardest in-game leading job you can get right now in the world.
I don't really think that Nico, for that matter, or any players in G2 was a trouble for LXCB. I don't think it's a question of them talking too much or not listening to that. I don't think this is the problem. My question is, has Huxi the ability to convey a vision to the rest of the team? And how much do I, as Nico or Hunter or Monacy or JKS, look into his eyes and say, okay, I trust you. I trust your vision of the game, because that is supposed to be, I guess, the logical order with the IGL. You're supposed to look at him the same way I used to look at Existence back in the days and say, listen, I trust in your way of looking at Counter-Strike. You have understood things I don't. You see the game the way I don't. And this is why I'm going to follow you. I'm going to do everything you tell me. How can Huxi convey that feeling right now? I think what he's done with CPH Flames is great. It's something we have to commend.
Yeah, hugely.
How they play it at the major is great. But aside from that, he still has a lot to prove. And this, to me, makes his role right now, his situation, very tricky and a huge challenge.
But this is what I hate with that conversation, because I agree. I don't necessarily think that LXCB was a problem. I don't necessarily think that Nico or any of the other players didn't listen to him. Even Exter said in the interview, right, that all the players were willing to listen to LXCB.
Yes.
They were all following the lead and all that kind of stuff. But what is the problem then? I hear everyone speak about it, right? LXCB wasn't a problem. The player's not a problem. The team is not a problem. The leading style is not a problem. But clearly there was a problem. So what is the problem within G2? You even did it right here. You said, clearly he's not a problem. But we never go into discussion. What were the problem then? Because we've seen it for G2 for a long, long time. They've always been a championship caliber team, but they haven't won any big trophies. Why is that?
I mean, you've taken G2. I've taken Vitality. Sorry, Maniac.
Wow,
but I'm going to throw it to you. Who else? Who else are you going to throw into mix as one of your favorite moves of the season?
Let me think. Well, it was extremely underwhelming in Cologne, but bringing Yabi and Heroic I thought was a really good idea. Yeah. Because I thought the base of Heroic was already really strong with Refresh. They obviously had a little bit of a mental block when it came to the last few steps in the LAN event in front of the stage, but I think they had established themselves as one of the best out there. And I thought, Yabi is net positive. Yabi is an interesting player. He's an intriguing player. He's bringing the fire with Copenhagen Flames. Unfortunately, Cologne did not really go as planned, so I'm kind of left hungry for more.
Yeah, it didn't really materialize there. Cologne was a weird one, though, because there were a lot of teams, I mean, Astralis, the people that we're literally just about to see taken to the stage again, managing to make it pretty deep in Cologne, which I think kind of set us up going, we saw that quote from the coach saying there's not going to be any changes. Kind of made sense a little bit, but I don't know whether they were kind of just forced into that situation.
I think they bought some more time. I think that's the way to phrase it. That performance at Cologne was good for Astralis. It was an upbeat for them in a rough first part of the season, but the fact that they played so well at Cologne bought them a little more time. Whether that's a good decision or not to change out, well, it depends on the market as well. Is there someone who can replace them? I'm not quite sure. We need an AWP player, not only in Denmark, but in Scandinavia, and right now I think everyone out there is scouting for that AWP.
Well, speaking of Astralis, we are going to see them taking to the stage for the final game of the day, the final game of Group A, to see who will be the champion of the group. Connor, Mo, take it away.
Why, thank you, Freya, and thank you, Pimp and Maniac, as well. Despite what I said about you, I am grateful for your guys' help.
Don't walk it back, these bums.
Yeah.
Take them down. No, I'm just kidding.
It's day one, It's day one. I'll give him a chance.
Yeah.
But 4 more days of Pimp, and he's getting the full Monty, I tell ya. Yeah. And so here we go, folks. It is time for the last best of one of the day, the last best of one of Group A. And sure enough, it's Astralis running it all the way back. If they can, of course, topple Vitality here on Mirage. So let's see who is the temporary champion. First day of groups, and it's kicking off. Glaive and Farley just tapping away with those pistols. And Astralis have been doing very good at winning pistols today. Definitely versus NIP on Ancient, 2 for 2. And looking like the first one here on Mirage. Glaive again, just perfect. ZywOo left over, but when ZywOo's left over, things get weird.
I remember a really good round from him in a specific situation in a 1-on-5.
Yep, but they line up and they make sure they hunt him down.
I think Glaive started salivating when he jumped out of the window, and they immediately did their Fnatic window smoke, and he's just sitting there because he had the perfect angle to stop the connector push, and then him and Farley just pieced him up in mid. That was beautiful.
Nice clean taps.
Let's go!
There you go.
So we, again, going back to the OG game, fantastic CT side from Astralis. They're looking to just do that again in maybe a different order, right? But a lot of love and attention towards middle. Great CT side followed by a great T side. Lots of aggressive pushes, very dynamic.
Ooh, this one's over.
Yeah.
See ya. 3 kills for BlameF. Easy spray down. Let's not even talk about it.
Yeah, I still picked Vitality to win this game just because I feel like they're good at Mirage, and they've got a team that should eventually be better than Astralis, but I don't know if they'll win today.
Yeah, in terms of today, now that Config has bounced back from that first map,
yeah,
you know, we've seen again that form. That is, I think, the kind of form that could take a challenge to Vitality.
It was on Mirage as well,
but we didn't know it was going to be Mirage.
Mr. Window Smoke.
And there's plenty of time for Astralis to drop the ball. Mind you, CT side. I think that's a nice little layer of comfort that Astralis get to kick this one off with.
Production, can we find out who missed their window smoke?
And then beat them.
In a video game. In Minecraft.
Apex at the front. Ooh, we saw that trajectory, but that's just going to be tunnel vision. Nobody cleared this yet. Back's turn. Xyp9x, easy pickup. But we do still have Apex down on that bomb site, and ZywOo would love to join him. But as he comes around that smoke, he doesn't get killed for that. Apex another through the edge of the wall, and the last player gets caught. Guns bode well for Vitality.
Yeah, I think that was a firepower diff. That was like he had a really good spot. Okay, we just learned that it was magic. But they still won the round, so
then no beating.
No beating. It works out just fine. Damn, they set up pretty well, got their kills. For a second, it looked like they were about to get their kills, and then felt like a house of cards.
Quick fight in mid setup, but dupreeh and ZywOo eat those flashbangs.
Throw some HEs in there.
Glaive's really going for it, and ZywOo's gonna punish him accordingly. BlameF not too far away, still stuck in the open, and ZywOo sticks both. Headshots after headshots, and a third potentially versus Config, but it's dupreeh to trade that one out. So double man advantage, and now we're gonna start to see a little desperation for Astralis. Farley wants to take a fight, and he wins it. That desperation could be a solution had he been given a chance to fall back into that bomb site. Xyp9x found out and fighting, but down to 48 health. A second kill is his. Xyp9x in a clutch versus dupreeh 2022.
Yeah, let's see if 4 years felt like a long time ago for him. This is a potentially huge round on the table. Unfortunately, he's gambling in the wrong direction. Doesn't mean he's out of it, though. Could make his way back to B eventually, but for now, dupreeh calls him out for leaving his position. Has an open plant. And I mean, I think as far as he's concerned, he has an open site for the next few seconds, so expect him to kind of take some space back here.
How many clutches of Xyp9x as dupreeh watched in first person? He figures out the right site. Now he's just got to finish off the 16 HP that's left, and he times that peak perfectly.
You know, there's nothing objectively correct that Xyp9x could have done there. He either goes back to A side, because dupreeh would naturally go there, but he didn't know where dupreeh was starting from. So if dupreeh was on the A ramp, he's just going to plant on the A side, and Xyp9x would meet him. But in this situation, dupreeh was still mid. So without that info, I think, makes sense why Xyp9x leaves. 2-2. Pistols up here for Astralis. And, yeah, definitely Vitality looks slick enough to be able to win these harder positions, but game's not over.
Okay, Apex is nice and sharp. Lots of bodies inside connector here. Him and dupreeh gonna have a feast of frags made easy by by that gap between the AKs and the pistols.
So he sees so many CTs, he's like, they're just going to flash over mid. It's an insta. Quite simple for him.
So no fumble from Vitality. However, it is Astralis back in with their guns. No op, and we saw a lot of ops coming out of Astralis on that CT side earlier versus OG. You know, a lot because that consistent double op with Farley and Config. Curious to see if they try to run that back versus ZywOo. But for now, the economy just can't cut it. Apex, again, quick into the action, catches Glaive over towards triple, but there's a player down beneath him. Config sees the feet, takes off the head. 4v4 right back at it, and a lot of bodies still here towards this A site from the Danes.
Yeah, this is the most interesting part, really. I mean, he saw Farley cross the stairs, 2 on A confirmed. That might be enough that'll lead you over towards the B site, so it really comes down to if the Astralis are going to doubt themselves and shift over, or if they'll chill. But some time passes, and it looks like they've both agreed to try to be as composed as possible. Bomb's still hanging out. And does Config have a flash? Yeah, he actually might be able to flash after the smoke comes up.
Ooh, they're all setting up for it. There it is, Blame F. Clean headshot, immediate evacuation back up to the stairs, and that's going to leave 2 players on each side of Con. Now maybe here's where they could shift, but oh, Blame F was still inside connector. Spinks will get a trade eventually back for Vitality, but it's man advantage Astralis, and nothing they can do to stop that. 30 seconds left.
Yeah, it's killing the clock. This top Con smoke.
Making their call, heading towards A. Config watches Palace. Farley left a slight opening there towards connector. Of course, CT's going to be aware of it. Farley doubling back. Dupree, he's able to cross over to bench, and with a grenade in his hand, Spinks goes down. Dupree, 1v3, 15 seconds left. Farley burns.
Just burns.
In its entirety, and off of the plant, Dupree comes back. Zippix in through jungle, 8 seconds left. Another Dupree versus Zippix. The wall bang's not quite there, and the chance for Dupree to get off of that site sure is, but he doesn't go all the way to CT. He sticks around in smoke. And Zippix just doesn't know. It fades, and so does Dupree's chance as Zippix presses close with the headshot for Astralis' third.
Oh, man, that would have been pure magic from Dupree. I don't know about you, but I was just staring at the HUD, watching Farley's health disappear as he's sitting in the jungle molly. What was that? I wonder. I don't think he was blind or anything, so that almost became possible. But Zippix finally finds his clutch and saves it, saves the day. Oh, man. That was almost too many tragedies in a row.
Yeah, Config going for that second jump up instead of just swinging wide on the first box. But Zippix is there to recover. So Zippix versus Dupree, 1-1.
Yeah. I think he thought because the smoke didn't cover CT properly, the plant must have been on the far side of triple. It does make you wonder, you know, why put the bomb down there if someone could have been CT.
Yeah, man, Farley USP. Left his gun in spawn.
You got it.
Forgot to buy. Only gets a FAMAS. Best in the hands of the French.
The question is it the best at killing the French? Because that's what he needs.
Yeah, he certainly does. Still haven't gotten to see that op on Astralis' side. Config, FAMAS instead. Tries to hold towards top mid. ZywOo, oh, on a silver platter.
What a shot.
Can't believe it. Still gets the assist as Dupree finishes off Config, but Farley's here and connect. Oh, Apex through smoke. Surely he saw nothing.
Call that the magic bullet. Damn, Astralis got put in a blender. Blame though, he's got an interesting spot. They pull out a grenade, they get away from him, and he doesn't get the kill. Are you kidding me?
No way. Oh. Dupree gets around the corner, barrel blasts him point blank, and then that open B bomb site for Vitality is going to give us that 4-3 lead.
You never see that happen in Blame.
I still need to know how Farley died to that Molotov.
Yeah. What I'm picturing is that he's in that corner. Molly lands near it.
Yep.
He looks at it.
Doesn't spread.
I'm good.
Yep.
When it spreads, you can't leave. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
It's got to be.
The thing was, he could have got out. There was no other players there, I don't think.
Sometimes you trust that intuition a little too much.
True. And it's slightly random. The spread is a little random. One small fact is that the molly expands in the direction that you throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it hits the ground. So that can help you figure out a little bit.
As it should.
As it should, yeah.
You know, I'm no scientist.
Yeah.
Or physicist.
Yeah.
Or physician, but
okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Not a doctor.
Ooh. And then here it is. So
yes.
Into the corner, burning the whole time.
Okay.
Into this corner, still burning.
Still burning. Yeah. All
Gave up.
Sometimes we all want to give up.
Yeah. And, you know, Farley knew Xyp9x was alive, so let him clutch.
Yeah.
So 1 round lead here. An off-putting situation for Astralis to have to try and deal with the economy. 1 CT round win sprinkled into Vitality's success, and it leaves Xyp9x solo AK. No armor on anybody else either, so this should be a nice, clean one from Vitality, but they have lost a few of these anti-ecos today. Don't want to let that happen again. Apex will have an aneurysm or something. And we don't need that at the start of the season.
You say an Andersism?
Andersisms. No, that's when you like completely fry up.
Yeah.
Got to reboot the system. Which is good for you every once in a while.
Nothing to stress about here.
No, nice and quiet. We're at the minute mark and nothing's happened. Too quiet.
Well, Astralis will be happy to find out what site it's going to be in a second.
Config sitting silently beneath the window. Farley almost dead to another Molotov. And Config does come up with the USP frag, but it's not going to be another. Whew. Quick turn from Spinks there. Keeps himself alive on 32 with a double kill to his name. And only Glaive left between him and Vitality's 5th.
Yep, so they NB on the Antico. The stacks come out. They only get a kill. 1 kill for the moment.
And there she goes.
It's been a pretty hectic game so far. A few of the rifle rounds that we've seen already have already been offered up some ludicrous moments. I feel like the culmination of this match is going to be pretty exciting. But let's see if Astralis can keep it close in the meantime. No op coming down, and we saw that Astralis, their best on CT side, had 2 ops. He didn't make it, but he still got a teammate to boost, right?
Yeah, they're recovering it. And luckily for them, nothing too fast. In the underground play is a little slower, but still inbound regardless.
Okay, so this is kind of a fakey idea. I mean, because you don't have anybody supporting from top mid, you have to really be patient about coming out of the underpass. Convict's in a perfect spot, man.
Oh! He gets the dink, but not the kill. Magisk ends him. Farley goes for the commitment on the spray. Luckily, Glaive picks one up as well from inside of that A site. You know, Config's heart just melted for a second. But luckily for him, his teammates pick up those pieces, and it's man advantage Astralis. Not to mention, Magisk so wounded. Yeah, that one's going to bruise Config's ego for a second. He'll be all right.
Yeah, that's a pocket strat. You know, something you don't do won't do probably twice a half, but you throw it in every once in a while. You got to be hoping they're not watching in connector to underpass. They don't have a aggressive mid setup. You're hoping Config is in the spot that he was. And even though they still get that kill, they lose both on the A ramp. However, Spinks, they'll try to make the most of this. That's 1 back and 1 spotted.
ZywOo looking for the trade, but a missed shot, and Glaive stamps his name on round number 9. Gives Astralis another one. 3 kills within it. Nice and easy. As they tried to come up connector, he shut it down. Made sure to shave one off ramp once Farley gets this first one. Love that Farley disengages, lets Glaive come at it from another side of a different smoke.
Yeah.
Kept Vitality guessing.
Yeah, now we've got a bit of a match. Now we're building into something interesting, and I'm excited to see Astralis start to get up into the ops again. First time out called for Vitality. so much untested territory on their T side so far. They can do a lot. And because of the way that some of the positions got distilled inside a middle, I feel like you want to try that again and see if you can make it just more clean. Even though they're up in rounds, I think some of their regular ideas, they've won in ways they didn't expect. So there it is. Farley picks up the first off. Full strength buy here for the CT side. Looks like back to mid for Vitality for the time being.
Nothing too wild, nothing too crazy. Astralis gonna give a little space over. No longer is config inside of the window nor the ladder room, but just kind of tucked in on Cat. Back to the norm for now. Saiwu looks to take to the front of this.
Oh, they're going fast.
Yeah, very quickly starting to push up. Look at that. Catches config off guard. Oh, but Xyp9x gets both those Cat players down. A third trio of kills from inside this B site. A dink into Spinks with the pistol. And Xyp9x has done all the damage he needs. He turns it back to Cat. Gets himself a fourth versus Apex. And he hunts that ace, but Spinks denies it. A double and almost a third for him as well. But this game's tied at 5 apiece.
Man, I wanted him to make it 5 so bad. Zip, what a round. And that would have been the one that you could prove that Zip today has played some of his best B anchor that we've seen from him in recent memory. Is back-to-back games on Mirage on CT side where he has been the beginning and end of the round. Teammate dies straight up. He's in his usual position, instantly turns it into 4 frags, and does most of the damage needed for the last one. Glory to the B players.
Yeah.
For once.
All hell Xyp9x. Apex just gonna walk out. Config so tucked behind that firebox.
Starting firebox.
Whoa, all the way into connector. Finally, we get that deep peek out from Config. That was the only AK that Vitality had to work with, so nice to see it at least get thrown into the mix. Could have gone crazy had Config not come out for the trade, but he'll finish off Zaiwu. Frag destined for Magisk, drops him to 17 HP. And this one will get swept under the rug quite easily from Astralis. They've got themselves a lead now on this CT side. Well, not now, but soon.
Yeah. Yeah?
Right? They've got the lead, right?
It's, I mean, it should be under wraps. I mean, it's just, yeah, no problem, man. No wait a second.
No, don't you do this. Don't you dare. Dupree. 2 kills with the P250. Config's coming back around from market, but he got tagged up early, so he's 30 health. He finds the timing, though. He slides out, starts to miss a couple shots and recovers.
Jumps back into market. They still think it could be A and Config, guys.
No. 2 pistols left. Glaive, the only player left to stop this from happening. An absolute fumble. Astralis.
You had to say something.
They were supposed to have the lead, and they could still easily do it if Glaive can just clutch this 1v2. We're talking unarmored Magisk and Spinks. Glaive now making noise. They know exactly where he's at. Oh, he fumbles it all! And Vitality kick him in the teeth.
There's no way.
They'll get the lead eventually, right?
Wow, you had to say something.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, guys. That one's on me.
They should be thanking you. That was content.
Oh.
And this is all after Config started Firebox and BlameF died in Connector. That was the slimiest thing I've seen all weekend. I literally jumped in the ocean yesterday.
It's seaweed on your feet, bro.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Nade out.
You can't make this up. Dupree had, like, no armor with his Myrtos swinging back and forth off Get Right Pillar. 2 players that get paid 30 grand a month shooting back at him with M4 A1Ss. You can't think of a better advantage, and he still got them both. I made up that number, by the way. I don't know how much they get paid.
And now they're just going to steamroll, man. Man, not even a pause off at the back of that for Astralis. So just going to have to enjoy the flavor. probably tastes and feels like garbage. But they're going to have to deal with this. That's Vitality back with the lead. Like I always thought. And Astralis having to wait a little while.
Yeah. CT's the good side.
Yeah, that it is. You know,
T-side's fine, though.
Yeah, it was improved.
Yeah.
You know, it would definitely.
We didn't even get to see the full T-side because they won, you know, so it'll still be great. It'll be a movie. Yeah. Oh!
That reeks of copium.
Yeah.
Magic skin from Cat. Blame F hands on an AK. Still plenty of time to also go towards the A site. In fact, bomb's already heading in, so this will be a cleanup duty from Magisk with another double to close it.
I thought I had a smoke again! Yeah,
Earlier today in Pit on Inferno, Magisk tries to put out an incendiary and throws a flashbang.
Yeah. And he pulled out his smoke so fast, he did put it out with like 4 HP left over.
Somehow survived.
And then here he doesn't die for a similar mistake, which is hilarious. He did a good job of sectioning off those angles though when he's looking for those fights. So
Good recovery.
Landed on his feet. I don't think he would have been laughing at the end if he died there.
Good recovery.
That was good.
Gets away with it twice. Farley going for a deeper angle. Easy does it versus Dupree. That's bomb spotted as well. Confirmed outside the B site. And he backs it up. MP9 by his side in the hands of Xyp9x. Vitality hit that reset button real quick. And, well, Magisk, again, out middle early. So an easy rotation for Vitality. They're going to bolster him instead.
Such a weird pace to this game. I mean, it's actually provided some of the most funny rounds.
Yeah, that's a word for it.
Yeah, interesting, unique rounds.
Unique.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, okay, you know, listen, I'd rather have 5 players, but positionally, I think I'd rather be Vitality. We've got connector play coming in. They have Palace as well.
Big pinch. Config gets around into the corners of ramp. Oh, there's the fight. He actually comes back for it, but this sets up the MP9. Glaive could go huge. Drops bomb, 40 seconds. Magisk, last shot.
Oh.
Gets the kill, recovers bomb. Goes for the plant, but the CTs, as they peek, are met by ZywOo. The numbers were there for Astralis, but positionally, great A split.
Yeah, they got... It's not just that they got a connector, it's that no one saw them get into connector. They saw someone going towards A ramp.
And the information wars of 2022.
Yeah. So, that's well done from Vitality. I feel like a couple of these last bullet kills also made a big difference, and a nice opener from Farley. He was somebody I said I feel like he was having trouble with opening frags. I mean, he wasn't dying too much, but in terms of bringing an impact, I feel like he wasn't finding much. And that's a position where he goes for something a slight bit unique, and I think that's all you have to do. Go a little bit deeper than is natural. Jump up on that cabinet, look for a kill.
Okay, I got the kill in the last bullet.
Yeah. It wouldn't have even been as impressive if he had 30 bullets.
Exactly.
So that's how strong this silenced M4 is. I'm bringing the A1S slander for the rest of the year, by the way.
Oh,
so
really?
I'm going to be insufferable.
More than normal?
It's ruining my favorite game.
I mean, you literally went and... I mean, you went to Seattle.
Yeah.
You could have told them while you were there.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. And they just poked their head out their office?
I told them lots of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they tell you anything?
No, they didn't tell me anything. It was a one-way. It was a one-way street, unfortunately.
Okay, it was like a confessional.
Yeah, exactly. They actually just got stuff out of it.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was showing the creator of New Nukes, Franz J's live stream, where he plays Nuke 6 hours a day, every day. That was amazing.
Slow crawl through the murder hole. As the solo AK and solo op of Astralis hope to keep Vitality off 9. They're shooting for that 10-5 T-side Mirage.
Quiet. Astralis seem to have a lot of questions. Late mid attack coming in. Vitality have not, overly used this A hit.
Here come the smokes, and there goes Glaive. So one of the pistols down, but The threats still loom near. Xyp9x blinded, waiting for a chance to strike. Maybe Config sets him up with that Desert Eagle underneath. He's got a little gap, but nothing to shoot at. Farley point blank, ended by Magisk. And that's going to take a lot of pressure off of this situation, if there was any to begin with for Vitality. Bomb plant and a quick tap. Xyp9x sent to bed. And as Config gets his hands on the AK, he also gets toppled. So it is only Blame F between Vitality and their very comfortable 9th round win.
Yeah, so would have taken some luck. Maybe the op getting a kill, add some pressure, but ultimately, yeah, Vitality don't seem too concerned. They're doing well. I think they can trust almost everybody they look beside, and yeah, there's no real problems here. Nice frag from Magisk. We move into the last round of the half, and I think Vitality can bring the shoulders down a little bit.
Apex with more than 100 ADR, the only player in the server with a stat like that, 12 and 9.
He was really hard on himself too after the first map. He said we were playing 4v5 and we still won.
Oh, missed shot from Farley. Dupree just a little too agile.
Yikes, the flash came through, but it didn't blind Dupree, and then Dupree gets 3.
Nicely done. Follows up into Config, catches Xyp9x on the hop up. Blame F gets iced out. And that is Vitality ending it on fire with a dominant T-side Mirage.
That was fun.
I think in-game leader in CS definitely have to have like a feel for the game, and you have to be decisive. You gotta trust your own card.
People thought that I wouldn't be an in-game leader ever. No one trusted me. I mean, it's a big challenge, but that's what I'm living for. We are in Stade de France, which is the French stadium where the national team of football and rugby play. It's also our facility for 2 years. For most of French people, it's really known because we won like the first World Cup of France 23 years ago. I used to be an entry fragger for probably 10 years of my career. I love that role. I love playing for the team because the entry fragger, they dies first. Yeah, it's a hard role, really hard role. But I always on the side work for the team, like tactically, with nades, with coding. I've never been like that far from being a leader. For some years, I didn't do it myself, even though I could, because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
There has been some movement on Vitality, as we see here in the lower third. I mean, Alex no longer in the roster, and the team seems to be having its ups and downs.
And when Alex departed the team in 2020, my old coach Astralis came to me and said, I think it's time for you. I said, okay, let me 2 or 3 days. I need to think about that.
A player like Apex now having to be that in-game leader, I think is a huge, huge change for him and a huge responsibility.
And then I came and said, okay, I think I'm ready.
Trust is, it's everything in this game. Like if you don't trust your coach, if you don't trust, I don't know, manager, analyst, player, like why you play this game? Like it's all about trust. Actually, when he became a leader, I trust him like 100% because he has him in the blood. Like he can motivate, he can cry, he loves CS. He has a lot of emotion, so yeah, I like it. Yeah, you can be a good leader, and he proves every day.
Dead con.
Nice. Below Aiden.
Almost dead. Don't. Default.
Guys, 2 guys.
Default.
Pushing short.
Close round. Half HP.
Below.
It's shadow.
Shadow low.
We can chill. I'm pushing up here. He's short. Think?
Not to payday.
Don't think.
In front of the
Yeah,
ground, can be
chill,
on the ground.
boys. Chill, boys. Yeah. Actually, you have timing to kill Sal.
Two shot.
One
more HP.
One more slow speed.
Can we help?
One shot. One more shot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice, Peter.
Can be kitchen, guys.
I'm running.
One is half HP. Config half HP.
Chicken
Can
kitchen.
be out kitchen.
I don't see window.
I have undergone for now.
Mid, you should go with him.
Hit the plan.
Go.
Nice,
Out long,
you cannot go.
out long, out long.
He's half HP. Back side, right side.
Walk it.
Good.
Nice.
No?
A player,
That's a
A
no.
player. Watching short.
I'm
Give me bomb.
planting.
Done.
I'm planting. I'm
Just
planting.
That's fine. There's weapons short.
And get
Like
it.
Can
the
go
one
out kitchen as
in
well.
Short. He's short.
Okay.
He's hit
Just
already.
leave me. Just leave me. We're on time.
One is.
Nice.
Nice indeed. What a tough round loss to swallow if you are Astralis. Damn, it looked like even when Dupree was tapping noobs with that P250 up catwalk, he still wasn't even that inspired.
Yeah, he was just chilling.
Another one half, man. Another one half, man.
Yeah, it's still who knows if you're gonna win at that point. From our
Mowing 'em
perspective, it's like, okay, this is crazy. All right, Astralis, 5 rounds. Can they win a pistol?
We said improved T-sides, but this would have to just be lights out. They're gonna make this one happen. Magis. Oh!
Shut up.
Dayul.
Doesn't get worse than that.
Spinks comes through with the third. And with that, we're talking 4 versus 2 for Vitality. A bomb plant bodes well, but the headshots hit better. And there it is.
Wow.
Spinks with 3 to close. Magis, I don't even think he saw that second one.
Dude, the thing is, they gave him a one-way. I was gonna say I don't like that smoke. Obviously, they have a plan for how they're gonna use it. There's no way they missed their jungle smoke, right? So they smoked top stairs and not top con.
Top stairs, not top con.
Yeah. So this is open, and I don't know if I don't know what their round's supposed to look like there, but that was just a really nice one-way for Magisk, and more people could have been on cat and in con.
A little too easy.
Little too easy.
Little too easy.
Nice shots though.
That is true.
Yeah.
Not so nice guns. Quadruple Galil and a scout for Farley. So economically, Astralis starting to kind of feel the heat already. Oh, great flashbang. Zaiwu comes through with the assist for Spinks and an immediate 5 versus 4. An A4 in the hands of Zaiwu. Look what it got him. Killed. Glaive and Zippix able to answer back, and we're talking man advantage Astralis now. And not only that, but they immediately leave A.
Yes, they do. But just keeping tabs. But is he also calling for help? Huge questions with this enormous fog of war on middle. They don't know where anyone is. And Magis moves into a better spot, but Apex dies inside of the window. And he's starting to move off even over to watch Cat. Dupree gets caught.
Nice
Ooh.
recovery.
Yeah, they're getting destroyed. I mean, they don't know where he is, but they know.
Yeah, strong feeling.
We'll see if Magis can do anything here.
Put Glaive at the front of that B expedition.
Oh, I just realized we're watching the first rifle round of the CT side. We'll find out on some of the spots where people have switched.
Mm-hmm. Time to keep our eyes on Spinks and Co. Now Astralis, no B site wide open. So 4 Galils and a scout work out well. But it's Zippix again. You know, a continuation of this good form. Not in a clutch this time around, but just an easy does it 3K.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, B anchoring. He was definitely making noise today.
Just mopped him up in mid. Look at those X's all stacked on top of each other in window.
With a Galil too.
Mm-hmm. He won't get that 4th one, but he's done his job and then some. Magisk gonna make this one a little costly. Damn. A4 looking good.
Yeah, we get it. You don't need the silenced M4. Whatever. Some of us aren't that good. Okay, Magisk.
I never lived long enough to shoot all 20 bullets anyways.
Yeah, that's a privilege. Can he get another?
Hang on. Farley's coming. And it's good.
Okay.
2 survive for Astralis as they get themselves that 6th.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at spots here this round. That is if they have money. Really important for the bees. Now they're broke.
Zaiwu's got a scout. Little X factor on this one. Magic's gonna take the boost, so that's the 2 guns here in mid. M4 and Scout. Desert Eagle of Dupree comes to help out. Ooh, early damage. Spinks getting tagged up. Here comes Magisk on that A4, extending towards top mid. ZywOo, what? With the Scout through smoke, connects to Glaive, and with 2 guns, they have started to turn this one upside down. Bomb needs to be recovered. Glaive's left inside the site. Xyp9x has options, and if he can catch Apex running around rambunctiously, then now anything is possible.
Ooh, some great awareness there. Okay, interesting spot, because crossing the site maybe isn't as easy as it looks. As we can see, Vitality have split this open in mid and have vision, right? A strong line. They can even assist Magisk going up into connector. Okay, top con smoke comes through. But there's still timings here. I totally understand walking through this because there's only 2 players left. And Glaive.
Oh, not yet. Magisk standing on a pedestal, traded out easily by Glaive, but that's 30 health versus ZywOo. Armor covers him, and he crawls beyond that bench as Glaive is expecting some kind of a stairs peek. ZywOo getting ever closer, slowly sliding by, and he gets just ahead of the timing so that Glaive doesn't have the crosshair on point, and Vitality with 2 guns. And those 2 players themselves, in Magisk and ZywOo, come out with all 5 frags.
That was nice from ZywOo. Doesn't go for the bench peek, go for the headshot angle. No, he just skips it. So I have enough time to walk up on this. Glaive low HP, wins the rounds. And, okay, honestly, this has been kind of an A4 commercial here for Magisk. Amazing shots being hit. He's having a great game.
Who only gets that 2nd kill because the 3rd guy bottom mid's got a nade in hand.
Yeah.
So he found that timing as well, right? Just slips it through. That's that one.
The one guy just sounded like he's from the UK.
Yeah. No, it's that one friend on your TeamSpeak that you have to keep at like 20% volume.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that was.
But you don't tell him because then they'd be feel bad.
I hurt his feelings.
Yeah. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Fix your mic. They're getting brutalized. I think we're seeing the individual level shine through way more. Yeah. All these other games have been like so close in some sense that it doesn't feel like it comes down to that. This game, it's like individual level diff. So they trade back, and now Vitality in the pole position with a 2-1 lead in rounds, burgeoning on 13th. But the trades back from Blame F are great.
That's nice. Couple kills his way. That opens a door for Xyp9x to slide out from ramp as well. Config's up in Palace when the timing could work. Farley bringing bomb over. Ooh, Xyp9x, he's got this timing. He's carving his path. Oh, and Config just blasts away Apex from Palace through jungle with the Galil. Oof. No 2nd kill for Magisk, though. Dupree stranded on this B site, jumps up into the gunfight versus Blame F. That's going to make the job of Xyp9x and Config all the easier. And this game keeps on going because Blame F has decided to take things over with those opening 2 kills in mid.
Yeah, and he's even resigning from this trade. Even though they know they have Dupree contained. So they're going to hold him off and actually try to hunt him down here. This would be nice for Astralis to bring this back in. Huge couple of frags. Always finds ZywOo up on that bench looking for op kills. Just a nice headshot angle to the top of mid. And the question is, do they actually approach on Dupree in time? And if they want to, so they have their own economy to worry about.
Terrorists win. I'll let that A4 slide. Keep 3 alive themselves. Try to chop that lead down to a manageable level.
Couple of impressive T rounds here. Timeout 3 of 4 for Vitality. And actually, wait, is Magisk playing Cat? No, because he's A anchor sometimes.
Yeah, but that's when they only had a 1 scout.
Okay, all right, okay. So I just keep forgetting to look for who's where. Because okay, so again, because I think we talked about it in the pregame, but naturally for Vitality, be Dupree on Cat, and the thing is that when Spinks was on Ents, which was a home map for them, Mirage, he was also on Cat. So we're trying to figure out where they play now. If we looked at Astralis CT side, I mean, they actually mix it up a ton. They were playing like a lot of spawn-based stuff. It was really hard to say who played exactly where. Yeah.
Switching out guns, switching out roles, switching out spots. So it gets out the ramp nice and easy. No contest whatsoever, and if there is any, it should come from Dupree and Apex. Magic's Deagle head hunting, but Molotov forces him off his angle, and that's going to be an easy bomb plant here for Astralis.
And he's fragging like crazy, 21 and 8.
Yeah. You know, we've seen it before as well, right? Even when there was still Masuda on the lineup, like
overpass.
Every once in a while, you know, Magisk has a big game. Dupree was kind of looking like ZywOo's number 2.
Yes, at first, yeah, Dupree was more consistent. Magisk had kind of like config style games.
And
like,
I think, you know, at first, because of the language change, it felt like ZywOo really got hit by that, you know, when the project first got running.
Yeah. But now, I mean, so first of all, he's the best at Counter-Strike, but now, I mean, he's just the best at learning English, apparently. Because,
Also, facts.
Yeah. He's just the best at everything.
I think ZywOo has caught up to Shox.
Well past. I'll have to say. I just have to say.
Not quite as cool yet, though.
No, that's
impossible.
I don't think there's any chance of that. Yeah.
No.
Shoxy, baby.
We'll give him another 6 years. We'll see.
Even in game, the way Shox play, I don't know if anybody will ever be that cool, but.
Nope. Le Richard Papillon?
Yes. No one swings like Shox.
Magisk trying to hold up close. Grenade's good. Ooh, Deeg is better.
Wow.
Right between the eyes. Down goes Glaive, and here comes the M4. Dupree trying to throw himself into this mixture. Gunfight goes down inside that A site, and the A4 gets away from him. He still plays A1S. Oh, but who needs guns when you've got Desert Eagles? Pistols paying off. 3 versus 3 is where we're left. I don't know if Astralis can afford a second round loss like this. Assuming they don't recover. But Config's down to a quarter health. Spinx's Desert Eagle looking hungry.
Oh, man.
ZywOo's not too far away.
They got one trapped, held hostage here in Santa Sandwich. He gets out, and they go back. But is it the case that they want to go back to B? When there are pistols alive, that's the most, there's the highest likelihood that they've full flanked something, they've pushed something. So it can sometimes be the best to just pause, wait, go back to the same site. And this could be understood for Vitality as well, but they don't know if there was some lurk earlier on who was leading into B. They go and clear out the market. So Vitality don't want to wait too long. They'll start to come back towards the action. But I can't help but feel like these Deagles are still scary.
Apex holding that long angle with the scout into the A site. Default's good.
Yeah.
Except that's going to elicit, yeah, ZywOo's peak.
They have, that's last smoke. That's it. No CT smoke.
Oh, scout damage. Farley down to 30. ZywOo buys his time. And because nobody peeks on that bomb plant, maybe they're not going to expect it. More damage in. Farley team kill.
He killed Zipix.
Oh, no.
Why does he hate him?
Could make things weird. Farley just spinning in circles, holding down that left click. Apex's scout connects. And that means Config's all that's left. We've got a smoke on Apex as well. Is that destined for Palace? Is he going to throw it on Bomb? He just obscures the vision. Config could spray down both, but he's dead. And with that, Vitality nab another.
Can I just say, it's a nice shot.
It's a nice shot.
It was a nice shot.
Farley's, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This one was clean.
Yeah, and Magis has the cannon out today. That's a nice shot from ZywOo. This is really unfortunate. It does feel like, yeah.
I see why, because the bullet bound. Yeah.
Yeah. All good. All good. No problem.
Happens, bro.
Well,
I can see why. You know,
he assassinated him though. That was sick.
It's because the bullet looked like it was coming from the left because Zipix is shooting over. I see it.
Yeah. No one will understand except for us and Farley, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The people around him, I mean, how's he going to
No. I
How
think
can he break it to him?
You should play because we're gonna play too short this round. Because Matu's gonna pick and we do Navi default.
Okay, we should take him from middle.
That's 2. 2 down the drain for Astralis. Tough pills to swallow.
So, on the full rifle, Sphinx actually in connector. Dupree has his spot.
Damn.
Yeah.
Setting up the Sphinx.
So this is more Nico than ever, playing into connector. So, new position for him.
This could be a test of Sphinx. We'll see. Nade lands nicely. Ooh, through the window. He's in. He's in. Blames deep. Real deep.
They broke the grate. No one's watching. They have that smoke and window. It's deep enough. This is one of those rounds. Should be over already. Let's see if they organize it correctly behind it. Blame F. Gotta wipe. Oh!
Taps quick.
Last one clean.
Yeah, second kill is critical. That's gonna draw everything over to that B bomb site. So Blame F gets away with the sneak through vent.
Yeah. There's a gap on the timing. I think they must have boosted into ladder room if that was the play.
Well, no, because ladder room vent is not broken.
Oh, that's true. So then the reason I say that is why did they bust the grate if they didn't need to? Maybe they mollied window for the smoke. So Astralis took full advantage of that. As soon as you see that open, if you're Blame,
you go.
Your hands just start sweating from excitement.
He gobbles up a couple kills towards the B site. This kind of makes things weird for Vitality. Again, you know, we're talking about a CT side that has 2 round wins.
I'll be honest, man. They look like the better individuals, but not the better team. They've gotten like they've won some weird ass rounds.
Yeah, yeah, a real wonky one with again just lesser guns. They've had one of those each half so far. That's 33.333% of what they've done so far on defense. We talked about Astralis' marked improvement on T sides, but a 10-5 first half from Vitality, that felt like it was insurmountable. And especially when you start sprinkling in these fumbles. But they're within striking distance. I mean, 4 rounds is no huge gap. And it's going to be cut down to 3 once Astralis find this.
Oh, you're going to say that again?
It will be cut down to 3, or I'll let you break 2 more of my toes.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't do that. I mean, yeah, I mean, that wouldn't even be fun for me.
Not even a
you don't even step on a bug that's too big and you feel it under your shoe.
Oh.
You don't even feel bad for the bug. You feel bad for yourself for having to deal with that.
Yeah.
I think that's how I'd feel.
Yeah. You know, luckily Hugo was with me when I broke it the first time, so he got all the laughs in.
Yeah, was he laughing?
Oh, well, no, not laughing. He was concerned at first, but then it just turned into roasting me for the next.
Hugo's got to be one of the most compassionate people that I've ever met, I think. So.
Honestly, not even.
Wow.
Just kind of, just
let it out.
Kind of turned into like he's just a bit of a witness.
Okay.
Hands off, kind of just observed.
Love that, actually. Anything more? What else do we? Let's throw some Hugo slander out there.
Some Hugo. See, the thing with Hugo is it's hard to talk smack because a lot of people love Hugo, or they're just indifferent.
I was one of them.
And yeah, what can I else? Let's see. He spent 2 weeks with me in Montreal. He is not a very good cook.
Oh no.
He's the kind of guy.
What did he burn?
He's the kind of guy who meal preps. You know, he'll cook a meal and then he'll eat that same meal 4 days in a row, which is fine, except
this is normal, by the way.
Here's except.
Okay.
He won't ever reheat it. He's that guy that.
What do you mean? But he puts it in the fridge, right?
Yeah, man. He just eats his meals cold.
All of them?
Yeah, man. Like Smeagol. You know, just
like
raw. Like,
is this all British people or just Hugo?
This? I think it's Hugo, man.
Oh, okay.
And I need everybody to know. But
yeah, they're all weird though.
Since going home, he's made changes.
Okay.
He's working on it.
Ooh.
So are Vitality.
Blind.
But work to do because Farley's got the answer and vision over smoke. It's a big gap as well as Magisk being on the left side, but Farley gets away with the second coming around that catwalk.
Oh, he's making up for his TK now. They boost up in the window. This is a bit of leverage. Magisk, he is not aware of this, but he turns around. Dink comes in, but Config gets the kill with window and a 3v2.
Yeah, notice that vent's not broken this time.
Yes.
Apex gonna hear that movement. You'll be on high alert, expecting this B commitment to come through, and sure enough, bomb's getting closer.
Yes, it's a new spot for Apex as well, as he picks up the B anchor position where Masuda used to play. Ooh. Oh man, he just has to run all the time, doesn't he?
He's really.
But it could be almost confusing. Oh, okay.
That would have cost him.
Yeah. He said, "I like your M4A4s."
Yeah, let me try it out. Blame F still flirting around in middle. But Apex peeling himself away from apartments opens up that door that Zippix had so patiently waited for. They're going to jump down into the bomb site, plant this with ease. It really comes down to whether Apex wins this duel towards mid. No kit currently on the 2 CTs. Confirmation of the B play. Zippix going to walk right into Apex, and Zippix comes in with the kill. So Astralis aren't going down without an incredible T-side fight.
Yeah, this would be a sick comeback if Astralis figured this out. And they would expose, I think the conversation would have to be that when we look back on the half with the rounds of Vitality 1, I mean, none of them were normal. There was an eco, there was the team kill from Farley that allowed them in. There's some great deagle shots, and everything off the back of huge individual plays, but it didn't really feel like they had a super good game plan with tactics, like mid control that was standard that they went for a boost, got 2 kills in mid, and then came back. Instead, when we look at Astralis and some of the rounds that they've won, it's been, you know, Zippix inside of mid with his 3K. Farley finally finding success with these tactics on his opening op kills. Blame F also getting multi-frags in more standard positions. And so I feel like more reliable kills in that sense. Of course, it doesn't mean that they're going to win this game. They're still at a 2-round deficit, but it is a good sign. Of course, Blame F calling here just on Mirage. Pistols again to support Zywu's op.
Desert Eagles can be deadly. But this Danish T-side's rolling. Dupree tucked onto the stairs. Apex wants to shoot. Oh, he does. Right at the right time. Gonna tap Farley down to 70. Oh, more damage comes through. Oh, Dupree finishing what Spinks started. Now, they have collected themselves up on Catwalk, right? At least they take map control, but that's Zywoo ready with the op. This would be the third time that they win with lesser weapons. Farley just whittled down, ended by Dupree, and now Config with everything to do. 1 versus 5. He'll kick it off with the frag versus Apex, and who else wants some? He's got a little room to work. Jumps. Oh, sprained ankles, broken toes, and a headshot in from Dupree to give Vitality yet another. You can't be losing those.
You actually can't make this
3
up.
times in 1 best of 1.
Yeah, 3 times in 1 best of 1. And they're not complemented by other good rounds. It's just enough. They came out ahead in the beginning. Too many tragedies. They run into this op, and fair play. Some of these kills, like the way that Dupree peeked this angle on Farley, that was hard to deal with. Super aware of the op, how it could fight him. Went down the stairs first, popped up, made that shot as hard as possible. Some nice kills, but this is such a tragedy for Astralis if they lose at this point. Because now we're talking about a game that almost could have been over in favor of them already.
That it could. Apex tucked in by Van. Nice flash from Farley. Helps out. As Zippix goes down with just the 1 kill. Apex trying to hang on here. Looking for the reposition. Gets away from an entire pack of Astralis players. He's got a helping hand in Spinks. But we still have Astralis past that get-right position. Glaive swinging out. Connects to the head. That's 2 players down inside of the site. Vitality at a man disadvantage.
Rotation's just taking their time here.
And positions known, but check out this from Glaive. That bomb is stuck in this corner. And the T-side do not have the utility to get him out of here, so they're just looking for the duels, and the duel connects. Farley opts out. Magisk, Zywoo 1v3. And he's not even going to play for this.
Yeah. Wow.
Lets it slide by. Astralis, another lifeline.
Good flashes on that exec, to get him in. I thought Apex, he kind of MacGyvered the situation, put into a really awkward spot, disengaged off the van after getting this refrag, put his smoke down, made it hard for them to scale, but jump back up for another duel, and there were already T's everywhere. So, yeah, you can see the lack of chemistry and again, I mean, the fact that, again, they have changed a lot in terms of where they're playing. So not exactly comfortable looking, and Astralis win another hard round. But unfortunately for Astralis, Vitality are saving next round, so it means their odds have gone up.
At this point, man, you got to cheer for the Astralis. 15 at least. Those two gut-wrenching losses in the second half. Sprinkle in the third one from the first 15.
Man,
that's literally what makes the difference right now between these two.
I mean, we're at a point in this half where Vitality are more likely to win this save than they are to win the next rifle round after they win it.
How have we gotten here?
Yeah. So I think, and Astralis, I think they'll be scared of that. We'll see what they do. And they have the op as well. You know, Zao got the 2K on that last round.
And then you go connector with them.
As there were rumblings of an improved T side from Astralis, this would be the biggest improvement yet. Hunting that coveted 10-5 T side.
Let's go, guys!
2 rounds the difference.
Oh, it's actually an investment. They have money, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because they save again next round.
Now we don't know what to expect. Single Desert Eagle. Sphinx will take the limitation. Tries absolute damage. B-site understack for the time being. Zaiwu in from Cat. Blame F. He'll get tagged to 73, but Farley with the opening.
They had no escape plan there for Apex. He was smoked out of the bottom of underpass. It's good to stand there if you think a fast connector play's coming in, but they didn't even flash for him to escape, so he dies empty-handed. A-ramp push coming through. One big man here on the B site with the big op, and another big man in connector lurking.
Nice flash. Zaiwu gets nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Didn't even see them. Just knew that they were hitting in that moment and goes down. Astralis clean as can be into that B-bomb site. Magisk, he'll be found out on his run, and Blame F blasts away Sphinx and his Desert Eagle, sweeping away the board of Vitality. Remember, this was the force buy. This was the investment.
Yeah.
They came in with all they could afford. We're talking Astralis 13, high likelihood for 14 unless they lose versus Pistols again. And then it's a 30-round game.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem is they try to play standard CS, right? That's not where they excel. A good couple of kills, but I mean, he would have rather taken the save. Astralis making it come true, maybe. And here's the one where, you know, Farley's open any flash, they just don't throw one. They find Apex. And because it's a half buy, of course, you don't have every protocol in place. You just try, you know, one scummy idea, see what happens.
Blame F, that second kill. White hot.
Vitality did the math. They're going to be buying next. This game could potentially go 30 rounds. But I absolutely do not want to speak too soon.
Vitality having earned that hesitation. Already through connector, Blame F.
Oh my god.
3 more players behind him. They are being corralled in the center of these Deagles, but Zipix finds Dupree first. That's a sigh of relief for a moment. 4 more counter-terrorists on this bomb site. Glaive comes out from Palace. Magisk, the only player to deliver 2 Desert Eagle headshots.
Okay.
But it's 14 all.
Wow. They just walked up into connector, and Dupree was stalwart on his angle to the bench. Waited for a kill to come through. Zipix didn't let him get away with that, and now it's 14-14. Gloves come off. Money's in play. And I'm glad we have the situation where Vitality have to prove they can win on guns to close this out, because we got 4 rounds this half all on islands. No consecutive wins for Vitality in the second half of this match.
Killer T-side versus Vitality. After their worst CT side of the day.
They don't know.
And even with those questionable rounds, here comes Config, pops out, taps for 2. Down goes Dupree. And Astralis are staring a 15th round win in the face. Convert the double man advantage. Magisk, though, draws this back. And does so with 100 HP. Nothing connected there from Config in his 3rd gunfight. That sliver of hope starts to creep into the back of Vitality's minds.
They've never done anything aggressive with ZywOo, so it's kind of hard to figure out where he's playing. He's either been over on B or, you know, sitting ticket. And right now, Vitality gambling. There's 2 here. They'll go back to collect some information. Of course, A is more retakeable, but not when you've got, you know, 1 smoke and 1 HE on the other side of the map. Could this be the one here for Astralis?
They don't want to drop the ball.
I think they're officially saving to the next rounds.
All right.
With the way this is playing out.
They're going to let it go.
Wow, they're hoping it's going to be B. It isn't the case, and Astralis have really done it. They've stood up against getting ecoed 3 times in 1 half, come back on the T side of Mirage, and done it versus Vitality.
Yes.
The biggest win of the day if they can pull it off.
If. Big if. Damn, lesser men would have crumbled.
Look at this, 24 and 17 Zipix. That's huge. Topping the scoreboard, and it's not just 1 map. He was good today overall. You know, 1 bad map, 2 good ones.
Ones that mattered too. Oh, ZywOo gonna rack up some costs as they try to clear the board of Vitality's save. They will lose the op, in fact. So Vitality gonna have to try and recover. Round 30, 15 secured. And Config, I mean, this was just hook, line, and sinker. Locked into that position so early, they never saw it coming.
1 flash to release the tension, and if they knew he was there, they could have just cleared him, but he snuck in there quick. That's huge. A great tactic from Astralis. Round 30 underway.
Let's see it. 1 final hurdle from Astralis, and some of these hurdles higher than the others. Oh, doesn't put it out. Glaive just runs right through, dies instantly. And now Config's on recovery mode. ZywOo peeks out from default, tons of damage. But here's the help from BlameF. Out from Palace, 3v3, health advantage the way of Vitality.
They killed everyone but the A anchor.
And Magisk sits underneath this Palace, waiting, and Zipix not gonna see this coming. The barrel of the gun and the bomb dropped in the dirt. A potential further challenge to Astralis on Mirage, if overtime is truly needed. All 3 deaths as they try to storm their way out ramp. And we saw Apex in a similar round in a 3 versus 2 get caught inside of T-spawn that opened the door to the rotation. And instead this time he's gonna play it like an anchor. Reconfirms that Astralis is still outside this A site.
Yes, and he lets them know they can't just run back, and there's more of a fight in A than anywhere else, so there's not enough time to go back and kill him. Apex makes, you know, just the best maneuver, and they clamp down. 30 seconds, and Astralis need to move, or they're going to be staring at OT.
Oh, insta-dinks from the FAMAS of Dupree. And Farley 1v3, or this one goes overtime. He is down, he is down, he is out, and we go OT.
Wow.
They survive all that.
Glaive made a huge mistake, man.
That he did.
It was a mechanical error. He pulled out his smoke, but he didn't click and throw it. Not only that, but because the molly's still going, he's the only one that can still run through it. And he dies. His teammates are stuck for the next 6 seconds waiting it out. And everything falls apart naturally.
As hard as it was to figure out where the hell ZywOo was at times, it was really Magisk you needed to hide from.
That's true.
Something like 27, 28, yeah, 28 kills in regulation. Locks in that sandwich kill versus Zipix, drops the bomb, takes all the life right out of whatever was left in the 3v3. And we go straight to OT. No chance to cool off. We praise Astralis for coming back from that 5-round CT side, from recovering what were gut-wrenching round losses, not once, not twice, but thrice. And now, you gotta close it in OT. Good luck, have fun.
be any more ecos here for Vitality.
Well, now they're doomed.
Now they're doomed. On paper, they're doomed. So we'll see if it pans out. Magisk has, yeah, been the shining light here for Vitality in both halves, and I see he's already down past half. The attack is coming on slow, but methodically. Astralis haven't given up any information or players or damage until now.
Ooh, Spinks point blank. Oh, but we've got headshots straight back. At least a couple kills the way of Astralis, and Spinks just shaves the head off Config, curves that bullet over stairs, and leaves Farley in a very tough spot. Blown away from the top of Ticket. Apex seals the deal. Vitality, they get themselves 16 in OT.
They do what they couldn't, as clean as ever. Right here, of course, in the first round of overtime.
Spinks stand up.
Huge, huge play from his new position here on connector. Beautiful shot over the top of the stairs. Laser sharp.
Just got a glimpse.
Barely saw him, yeah.
I want to see this next one.
Insane.
4 or 5 bullets into the spray. Looked like last bullet too. USP came out right after. Spinks right back at it. Ooh, nade damage too.
They have a plan to take back middle here, but of course, 2 top boxes, 3 in fact. Spinks just swings. Wow.
All right.
Not a care in the world. It's 1 for 1.
Apex trying to connect the dots before they get into connector, but here we go. Farley at the helm. Everyone on this T side right behind him. Xyp9x holding this position. Apex inside smoke as it fades. Little bits of chip damage. Config comes through with the kill towards Palace. Apex drops bottom mid and Farley just body bags him. Oh, but he looks away from what could have been the kill to Dupree, who just stopped bomb plant. 30 seconds left. No possession of bomb. A hop across, and 2 kills come through from Astralis.
Okay.
16 all tied again.
Yeah, hey, man, they're doing a good job of kind of surveying the pressure, waiting a little bit. They got Spinks to just, I mean, go across the window like it was nobody's business. I think it would have looked less absurd if there was somebody else to swing with him, someone on Cat, a flash over Con with it, or whatever. But instead, you know, he just gets that kill, gets a little bit of info. Everyone else just falls apart. Astralis keeping up. 2 ops again.
Farley opens. Traded quick.
Get some good impact out of Farley as well here.
He's got a chip on his shoulder after that team kill. He's recovered. Ooh, Apex spots bodies. He's got Dupree to try and help. Oh, goes at it again. Xyp9x caught trying to turn. 4 versus 2. Vitality looking for majority rounds on the defense. Config sliding around through jungle. Spinks not going to give him the duel just yet. Going to make him go that much deeper.
Trying to let them make their own bed. But we'll see. It's not unwinnable, right? We have full nades. Got 2 teammates who have played together for some time. An open A site to put the bomb down. Their favorite map. The last chance here on T side. Let's see what they can do. Blame F and Config.
Full belt of utility for Config as well, but as he plays with those grenades, Dupree will clip his hands. Blame F honing in on this one. Nice headshot into ZywOo. Quick reposition. 2 frags for Blame. 10 health left. Bombs planted out in front for him. Tons of utility here for the CTs. Couple shots as Dupree pushes in, and with enough time, they'll take it. That's 17 to Vitality, 2 of 3 CT round wins.
Wow, they pulled off that retake. Unfortunate, I think Blame asked for a grenade, and Config gets spotted, so nice patience from Dupree. It pays off. And the retake is successful for Vitality. 2 CT rounds. I can't help but feel like that takes off some pressure here. But again, it's certainly not done. It's just a longer day. And one final timeout called for Astralis. Have to revisit what they did in the first half. Talk about what they want to try to execute on again.
They did that a lot.
Let's go, boys.
And this is actually kind of best case for Astralis. Full money, and not only did they use full ops, 2 ops well, it was kind of core to their win streaks. So now that they're in this position, can't help but feel like they're going to make the most of them. Farley and Config, yes, both in fact by the ops.
All right. Those 2 versus Zywoo.
Oh, and Config instantly denies all the mid information. So I feel like that's a good amount to... They didn't see anyone cross boxes. And the only way you can do this is by making the cat jump this early. But they haven't rotated over to Zipix just yet. Could be a fake in any direction, of course.
And so they slide back through their spawn towards A.
Interesting. They've changed it up.
A little bit of movement. Blame F. Starting to think about that B hit. This is going to put pressure onto the shoulders of Farley.
Yeah, we saw Mahone break down the play, where Glade through the smoke in the site to connect triple, the default, and peek in for a kill. But will Farley do the same, or will he sit back and wait for the retake in CT?
And will Glaive have a chance to come back and help? 3 smokes left for Vitality. Op duel between Farley and Zywoo. Neither sniper goes down. Glaive already very wounded, 8 HP, all he's got. He's also got Blame F not too far off. 35 seconds, and it's Magus to go down to the measly 8 health of Glaive. Spinks gets that trade back, and then we get Farley with the Op Duel 1. A second here from Farley. No 3rd kill to the top of Tetris, no. And Spinks creeping in through connector. He's got a player close. It's Convic, combat opping, and they pass positions. This opens a door to Spinks, but meanwhile, everybody's just holding on to the little cover that they've got. They shake hands, and it's a retake indeed needed. Dupree comes through with a headshot. Spinks can't catch Blame F inside that smoke. Dupree looking for another clutch. Zipix gets him, and it's Astralis to tie 17.
Damn, they made it happen. That was a tough one to calculate with the amount of action going on in that situation, but they figure it out. Oh, Spinks definitely looked very confused there. And another great round actually out of Farley. He does reaggress. It's just a little bit later on, a similar smoke, and he gets a lot of value out of it. And a beautiful spray from Zipix. You could see Dupree falling off the box knowing, like, I'm just going to take CT control if I get this kill. So he was half working on that idea while he was going for that spray. But Zipix's aim, and I feel like a couple months ago, Zipix, you know, was the kind of player to fail that kill.
Fair.
Today, he's way more reliable.
Improvements and improvements, and a return to form. Most amount of kills for Astralis at the moment. In a game to take that top seed in Group A. From losing to the Ninjas at the start of the day to getting a win over every other team in their group. If 2 rounds to close. Zywoo eats the flash, gets back. Config standing on top of the bricks.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, that position from Dupree is perfect. Magisk on chair kind of leads Config to have to scramble back, and as he scrambles, he gets punished. Caught, killed, dealt with. Blame F's responsibility to try and recover. Him and Glaive with the crossfire top connector. But Spinks is over towards that palace. Molotov goes in. Glaive catches Magisk sleeping, looks the wrong way, but Dupree up from the corner, so the man advantage held on to. The critical 18th round will be picked up, and Blame F iced out by Dupree. Farley has to turn attention. He needs to be sharp, and he'll drop that bomb. A second one from Farley. Xyp9x answers. Spinx needs to do everything. Smoke over towards the ramp. 20 seconds remain. Spinx has to run across the open, and Xyp9x is going to give him that chance. The barrel of the gun's been spotted. Xyp9x goes down at a sprint towards this B site. No time. He has to turn it back. Farley now knows it needs to be A, and Farley escapes down ramp. A bomb plant necessary. He's got the time, and Farley gives him the space. He plants, and the retake needed. Time to come up big for 18. 1v1. And Spinx just keeps this crouched on default. Farley goes high. Spinx waits. Damage one way. Farley caught falling back, and the USP's enough. Astralis with 18.
You kidding? Oh my God. I'm happy for Farley. Missed that first shot. I remember last time Spinx whipped in a situation like that, I'll be honest. But this second kill,
critical.
That was all time. That was all time, baby. That's the FPX Farley that they hired.
Woo. Gets away with the sidearm.
That was huge. And then that makes up for the TK. All right, now it's all good.
Yeah. That's behind us now.
That's round for round. Wow. Thought that was Spinx's round wrapped up as soon as Farley gave him the space.
Second chance to close it, but Vitality 5v4. blameF dead in an instant. I think Dupree makes sound crossing over.
He's like, show me config.
Ask and you shall receive. And that opens up Farley to move over towards market. So, I mean, he's been impactful multiple times towards OT. He's getting 2Ks, and he's going to deliver again.
Okay.
From a 4v5 to a 4v1. ZywOo's got an answer, but config's got the close. And Astralis from 0-1 at the start of the day to a Xyp9x top frag on Mirage. The kings of Group A. A win over top of OG, Young Ninjas, and Astralis.
Yes, what a win. What a win. What a day of Counter-Strike.
Absolutely earned. An excellent performance out of Xyp9x, a recovery from Farley.
I'm telling my kids this is 2018 Astralis right here.
Hell, a recovery from Config. His first map today was garbage, and he called it out. Nice to see that stark improvement, a total turnaround, and a good bit of success to start the second season of 2022 for the Danes. One of the few rosters that didn't really make significant changes. Wanted more of the same, and that was a question mark, but today, it's an exclamation. We send this one down to James Banks on the floor.
Well, blameF, it's certainly, when it comes to this event, it's been a long day for you. You played the most best of ones out of any team, but this event right here, you came from behind it with 14-11 down, you fought back, it goes to OT, and you do it again. With you calling on the Mirage side of things, how was that one for you?
I mean, it felt great, because obviously we had a great T side, and it always feels good when you're calling, and it's like a lot of stuff that was working. So yeah, it felt good, and I also think that we had some individuals that stepped up a little bit. I think our siege side was really bad, and we definitely didn't do the things that we usually do. Maybe we were a bit timid or a little bit scared, I don't know. But overall, it was a good match for sure, because they've beaten us a lot of times in the past.
And this one is important as well, right? Because now you get the first seeding in the group. Your attempt to get into the finals, only one best of three away. But just with how the day started off when I first spoke to you, right? You were very unhappy with how those things went. Are you impressed with the turnaround, especially the mentality from the lads?
I mean, I'm happy with the result, but I still think that there's a lot of stuff that we need to fix and improve, and a lot of mistakes and that we shouldn't commit, and a lot of we forget a lot of things and fail a lot of stuff still. So it would be nice if we didn't do that, because that can be a bit stressful sometimes, I think. But yeah, of course I'm happy. I don't think we expected to go through first in this group. Also, a lot of people said that that we had like a lucky Cologne, and that's why So it felt good to show that we might not be number 4 in the world, but we can still beat like the top 10 teams, So that felt good for sure.
Interesting. You say you might not be number 4 in the world, right? And obviously, I was looking at that thing where you say Cologne, and you come into this. Sure, that's certainly a factor. But where would you place yourself now then?
I mean, I don't like placing myself or like the team at all. I don't think it matters that much to us. I think it's more matters that we're like at least now we can beat some top teams where I think if you go like 3 or 4 months back, we never really beat any good teams. We almost beat some, but we never really beat them. But I think now we actually are like beating good teams consistently. Not Na'Vi and FaZe, but some of the a little bit lower than that.
Well, that's what it's all about. Good job so far, mate. Thank you very much for your time. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
The Danes get it done. Despite a hot T-side start off from Vitality, despite it going to OT, Astralis, they do top Group A here at the Blast Premier Full Groups. And I think Connor kind of put it perfectly. Resilience and fortitude from Astralis, despite, you know, having a rough start to the day, coming back and fighting.
Yeah, and it's a very good reminder for us and the community as well that even though we're playing for seeds for the Gauntlet, when these two teams go against each other, they want to win. They absolutely want to win. You could hear them scream round after round because it doesn't matter the circumstances, doesn't matter what you're playing for, you find yourself in that moment where every single kill matter, every single little difference is going to make a win or a loss. And that was a great game to watch.
It's kind of what we expected, right? A very back and forth close game. You have rounds like you're going to see right here where Farley unfortunately ends up killing his teammate. It is a ridiculous scenario, right? There was many of these rounds. You see it right here, and just take a moment to appreciate the brilliance. It's a nice headshot for coming out from Farley.
Clean kills.
He was hitting everything on the server as well, not only with the rifle, but also with the AWP. I think Astralis took it pretty well. At that moment, I thought they would have lost the game. But you talk about resilience, you talk about Astralis fighting back. It was a scrappy game of Counter-Strike. It was a messy affair. But Astralis, I think, were the better team. They lost 4 force fires against Vitality and still found a way to fight back into the game. I think that is a massive, massive achievement from Astralis. And as Blame F said right here, they're starting to not necessarily consistently beat good teams, but they're always competitive. And sometimes they will beat them. So well done to Astralis right here. And for Vitality, they still need a bit more time.
It's a long road ahead for Vitality. I think their CT side on Mirage is probably one of the few maps where a lot of adjustments have to be made. I mean, we saw Apex and Dupree. What a crazy duo to think about on that B side. We saw ZywOo coming over onto the B side with the AWP a couple of times. I think they really want to give Spinks that link position where he can thrive, but it means that the defense is definitely struggling. Jacob talked about it. All the rounds Vitality were able to put together on the CT side were kind of gimmicky. It's about deagle rounds. It's about crazy clutch situations. They were never back-to-back. They were always far and few between. So Vitality struggled massively on the CT side. Astralis was the better team overall, but there was a way in and it was a game as tight as can be.
Yeah, and that was the thing. There was a huge amount of question marks for Vitality coming into this one, particularly, you know, having not seen Spinks take to the stage on any of the maps. We definitely got some answers to that today, but some improvements to be going forward for Vitality yet. Still, we can take a look at Group A to see exactly how all of that was summarized. Of course, there were 6 games going on today, all a best of ones. Astralis taking the crown as the kings of Group A, and I believe we can also take a look at where that leaves us in our bracket gauntlet going into next week. Of course, as we were saying, all of this moving into seeding, we see Astralis taking that leap forward. They only have to win, I believe, 1 game, and that cements them in the 4 finals. That's pretty huge, but for NIP and OG, bit more dangerous over on that left side of the bracket.
Yeah, it's going to be a long road ahead, honestly. They have 3 best of 3s to win if they want to be at the 4 finals, and unfortunately, if they lose their first game, if they lose the first occurrence, their first matchup, that's going to be it for both NIP and OG. There is no one saving you if you lose that first game. That's why it's called elimination. You just have to make it to the semifinals, then to have that Joker come again.
Whereas for Vitality, it's not doom and gloom, right? They're in the semifinal, which means that even if they were to lose the semifinal, they'll still go into the last chance qualifier. So despite finishing second right here and despite losing the game to Astralis, I think it was a good learning curve for them. It was a good experience, you know, getting into a close game, getting into an OT experience with Spinks as well. You get to see how he's reacting. You get to see how he is as a personality. Because one thing is practicing with a player, but another one is playing an official where the pressure's on. So all things considered, you know, yeah, Vitality, they're disappointed right now, but I think they're still quite happy, you know, finishing second.
Yeah, and it's all things, you know, having that practice. We were saying they had, I think, a week in Paris ahead of before this tournament coming into things, but actually putting it into practice on an official, a totally different beast as well. I would wonder, though, how many people on the Blast TV pick'ems would have put Astralis at the top of the group? Because I don't think... No, you put Vitality, right?
I did.
Yeah, I don't think many would have put them there. I think
it's
a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean... Look, we low-key sleep on Astralis, right? We talked about it in the green room. They're currently ranked 4th on HLTV in the world, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we should consider them as such and as one of the best teams out there. Being favored. No one really considered them favorite in this group here, and we all have eggs on our face now.
Yeah, well, we will see exactly how the tournament does progress and whether Astralis do deserve that 4th in the world spot. But before we do that, we've got to take a look at our CS Money Plays of the Day. As you guys know the deal by now. Head on over to Instagram and get your votes in on this one. Jacob, what have we got coming up in our first play?
Well, we got a bit of Glock action coming out of Mackies, who had a good day of Counter-Strike. He's killing everyone with his Glock. A nice triple kill, turning into a 4-kill right here, and he was going for the ace as well. You can see he got red eyes, but he couldn't quite get the last one.
Teammate of Magisk as well. And in second, we have ZywOo,
who was supernatural in the 2 of the 3 first maps he played. Here we have a good example on Inferno, making plays with the AK, good trainings. Here we can see crosser placement, reads the situation perfectly, plays the clutch to close it out. ZywOo up top.
I'd call it surprise of the day. The fact that we have Sipnix playing so well once again. Not a lot of stuff makes me happy, but Sipnix playing well is one of the few things. You saw him shut down the B-bomb side on Mirage. We've seen it so many times in history before that the fact that he's starting to do this more consistently makes me so insanely happy. A nice 4 kill right here, and that was what put Astralis in the beginning of the first half back into the game. Good to see him.
Hard to please, Jacob.
It's all he needed to be happy in life.
Literally.
Zip
All
to
falls
show
on
up a little bit.
shoulders. That's exactly
No responsibility for his own happiness at all. He's not responsible for his own happiness.
Well, maybe
just
this will also make you happy, Jacob, because we are going to be crowning our Mersk MVP at the end of the
Sipnix?
tournament.